Namaskar. Apologies for the slight delayed start. Abhijit Iyer-Mitra was a little busy. As always, Monday evenings, 9 p.m. are Ask Abhijit time. But we're going to talk a little bit about this ongoing Canada-India fracas and what is going to happen, how we think it's going to end. And as always, I am Pattai, he's Mottai, and we are going to kill up to some Mattai. Here comes Abhijit Iyer-Mitra in a different avatar. Abhijit, namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaste.
So today he is luscious Lolita, Archbishop of Mylapore. Hey, listen, Lolita, what is happening between Canada and India? Now, the article, surprisingly, in Washington Post has basically torn this whole investigation into shreds, bro.
No, but you know what is even worse is what came out today. Now, for some strange reason, I don't know why, NDP leader 𝙒𝙗𝙘 has security clearance. But the leader of the opposition, 𝗣𝗚𝘂𝗿 𝗂𝘀, does not have security clearance to be shown intent. Anyway, so as per the Globe and Mail, this gentleman, 𝙒𝙗𝙘 was shown the intent. He says it's very credible. And then in the same sentence, he says there was nothing specific in there. I'm not kidding you. Go check it out. It's obscene. So, you know, it's...
So now, go ahead. Finish it up. I have a question, but go ahead.
Within this week, let's see who all Trudeau's pissed off. He's pissed off parents with his trying to introduce pedophilia and child porn into schools. He's pissed off Israel, he's pissed off Poland, he's pissed off Russia. Of course, he pissed off Russia long back. He's pissed off his Jewish community. He's pissed off the Hungarians. He's pissed off so many people. Then he's pissed off India, he's pissed off Sri Lanka, and he's pissed off Bangladesh. How many more people can you piss off in a week? I think in terms of international diplomacy, it's a record number of countries you've pissed off in a week.
Now, what is prompting him to do these things? There seems to be some sort of a desperation in this whole thing. Now, I'm hearing so many different things, Abhijit. You can tell me whether this particular thing is right or wrong. For example, I heard, I mean, this is again WhatsApp University / Twitter University, or I should say X University. What I heard was that this whole thing about, Indian government's hand behind was leaked by the ambassador of United States to Canada. And then the Canadian government was looking at it, and one senior bureaucrat who does not like Trudeau leaked it. And that's why Trudeau was forced to, make a speech in the parliament. Somehow it seems a lot of things that should have fallen in place for that to happen.
No, yeah, exactly. That's not how Five Eyes work. The way Five Eye works is, you have a whole set of people. It's seamless intelligence sharing. And what happens is you have people posted to each other's intelligence departments. Usually, America has a huge bandwidth on this. Britain less so. Australia and Canada significantly less so. New Zealand almost non-existent. So what happens is that at any level, Intel can go and ask their counterpart in another country saying, one of the other Five Eyes saying, hey, what do you have on this? And it's shared laterally. You don't have to go up to the, say, joint secretary, then foreign minister, and then down from foreign minister, down to joint additional secretary, down to joint secretary, down to the director. No, it happens all laterally. It is an automatic process. That is the point of Five Eye. So even the way it is described, the story is hogwash.
So if that's not the case, and now we are seeing that Dr. Jaisankar is batting on the front foot, he's saying, give us credible data and we'll look at it. That is standard Diplo speak for saying that, you got nothing. At the same time, if you do think you have something, then they can actually go and, deconstruct it point by point. So even that is not forthcoming. Yeah, right now, even that is not forthcoming.
Yeah, look, they have nothing. They've gotten some raw intel from American or British gathering sources. But they have decided to interpret and fuse it by themselves, with God knows what, in what context, and obviously it has not held up to scrutiny. So that's that. What we need to find out is, who was the chap who leaked it to the Globe and Mail, which Justin Trudeau wanted to preempt by coming out? I suspect it is a severely compromised CSIS, compromised by Khalistani infiltration, that basically leaked it to the Globe and Mail to run an agenda of some kind.
Abhijit, have you read Justice John Major's report on the Kanishka bombing that was released in 2006?
No.
Okay, so viewers, I'm going to put a link to that and you guys can read it after this program. That will be in the description section, and be sure to ping me this is to my editor, so that I give you the link, because I'm reading that. And 21 years later, they come out with these findings. But the point I'm trying to make is that we need to read all these things, because that will give you a peek into how well Canada manages its intelligence. And in 1982, India told them that this guy Parmar is a suspect. They wanted him, and they just basically ignored it. And in 85, look what happened. So in fact, there were two sets of bombs. Okay, one on an Air India on a plane that was supposed to get on to an Air India plane in Tokyo. Luckily or unluckily, the plane was late, so the bomb blew up on the tarmac. Remember that, Abhijit? He wanted to bomb two Air India planes.
Oh, I did not.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. The second bomb actually blew up on the tarmac, because they had not, the Air India flight was running late, and it was part of the baggage on the tarmac. Luckily, nobody died. This is in Narita Airport.
Ah.
So for someone to say that today his mom is going to this Khalistan referendum and says, Parmar Zindabad, Khalistan Zindabad. Look, what kind of a poison are you fed on? It's all over and done with. Forget it. Move on.
No, it's not over and done with. See, for them, it's very important. The way Rana Ayub uses her political activism to deflect away criticism or from her tax evasion, that is what these people do. There is no Khalistan movement on the ground, right? It's just a joke. What they are is basically organized gangs, organized crime. They need to wrap themselves up in some political scheme or the other, so that it will give them the kind of political protection they need. It's that simple. It's basically doing an international Rana Ayub.
Viewers, I don't know if you read this article that came in PGurus.com. Pannu has called for the Republic of Urduistan in Kashmir. The guy is now frothing, literally frothing. Whatever comes to his mind, he's just blurting it out.
Pannu, I'm telling you, Pannu is an Indian intelligence asset. He's been sent there to completely discredit the Khalistan movement. You look at him, yaar, even my dog won't take him seriously. If I ask my dog to bite him, he'll say, "Are you kidding me? Even I have standards."
Now,
so
to add, go ahead. Yeah.
So you see, Gurpatwant Singh Pannu is a joke. Like, he's a genuine joke. I don't know why his account is withheld in India, because it's one of the most hilarious accounts, which the more you see it, the more you feel sad for the Khalistanis that this is the kind of joker that their hope is based on.
And now, to add more spice to matters, Ilhan Omar has weighed in, and she wants to examine the records in the United States. P.S. This lady should be self-extraditing herself back to Somalia. So many. By the way, I'm going to give a refresh course today, tomorrow morning for Indian audiences. You'll see that one. So stay tuned on that one. Now, Abhijit, let's go for some questions and answers. Viewers, if you have not liked this video, please like it. And as always, you're going to have a lot of fun answering your unanswerable questions with unquestionable answers. Here we go. Astika Nastika wants to know, despite having more than 50% Indus Valley ancestry and only 25% Steppe ancestry, why are Brahmins still called foreigners by the left?
See, Astika, I don't know about that because, my family history is very clear. About 3,500 years back, we came from Ukraine, the Mitrovich clan. We came from Ukraine. So I am not Indian. Okay, I am Ukrainian. I don't know which Brahmins you are talking about, but getting serious on this, listen, there is no such thing as a standard Brahmin mix. Okay, it's different Brahmins are different mixes from different parts. So, for example, on one side, my grandmother was my grandmother was literally white like a European. If she wore a frock, you'd think she was an English woman. And she had brilliant green eyes. Her elder sister was again white like a European with brilliant violet eyes, like Elizabeth Taylor. But their younger sister, Jayapati, was quite brown, and she married Chittappa, well, not really Chittappa, but anyway, who was quite dark, very dark, in fact. So you look at the color variations even within Brahmins, it is enormous. You look, I don't think there's any standard genetic makeup of Brahmins even then. But look, there is no such thing as a homogeneous society, boss. Your Indus Valley people themselves have a significant portion of Iranian ancestry in them. So what? And I was talking to Disha Ahluwalia. She is an archaeologist who specializes in Harappa. She was telling me that genetically speaking, Harappa was as diverse as India is today. Possibly even Mongoloid people. It was food diverse. Like, for example, today, when you go from, say, Gujarat to Punjab, you have a whole, this thing of the chickpea belt to the wheat belt. It was the same at that time. You had different oils. Even between cities, there was variation in the oil used, the cooking oil used. Apparently, there was huge genetic diversity even in that population. So, first stop taking these things seriously. This is an this will take a very long time to resolve, if at all that. Next.
Om Patel wants to know, do you think India's greatest failure is letting Pakistan go nuclear? Should we have done to Pakistan what the USA did to Iraq? Actually, it was Israel which did to Iraq and then dealt with the consequences.
I just want to restate that I am actually Ukrainian. You people might be natives, but I am Ukrainian. Please remember this. I am white. I have blonde hair and blue eyes. So answering this question,
both of which have gone in hiding today.
No, you see, you can't see it because you're a bigot. But unbigoted people can see my blonde hair and blue eyes and my white skin. But you see this thing, Pakistan go nuclear. Bhai, उस टाइम देखो तुम्हारे पास क्या था? Did you have the ability to go do a precision bombing of their reactor? Israel used the F-16 and F-15 to bomb Osirak. You had nothing like that in 87, especially not precision bombs. The Israelis tell you that they use dumb bombs. They did not use dumb bombs, incidentally. Amos Yadlin, who was one of the pilots on that, is a good friend. And he's confirmed, they did not use dumb bombs. They used very specific precision-guided munition. It was too high risk to use dumb bombs. They used precision munition. The only reason they never admitted to it till very recently is because they weren't allowed to use it outside a certain area. So they never admitted to it. They finally admitted to it, that it was a precision bomb. Right? You did not have planes of that caliber. You did not even have your first precision weapons, till about the early 2000s, pretty much, maybe late 1990s. after we saw what they could do in the Iraq war. So, bhul hi jao tum. You never had the capacity to prevent them from going nuclear, especially when the Afghan jihad was going on and America was heavily invested in Pakistan.
But why is Canada only blaming Nijjar's death on India, but not the other Khalistanis that were killed in the same period?
Yeah, that's very curious. So that's why none of this makes sense. Literally, you tell me, Kanda Batata, does any of this make any sense? Ripudaman Malik is killed. Nobody to date has been arrested. Nijjar is killed. Apparently, India is responsible for it. But 3-4 days back, some 𝗒𝙑𝙤𝙬 has also been killed, but they don't want to talk about it. In fact, all news of that has been suppressed. So
This is narrative peddling. They want your focus only on one individual, Nijjar. That's it. And that's why they are trying to downplay and erase all the other things. Yeah, go ahead. I have some other update also. Go ahead.
I mean, that's it.
So there is this guy called Goldie Brar, allegedly the killer of Sidhu Moosewala, the singer. And this guy is holed up in California. And this has been happening for several months now. And today we have got an update on PGurus.com as to what is happening. So do read that article also. Look, all I can tell you is, we have been really diligently following all these things. We are trying to make sure that the law of the land prevails, whether it is America or Canada or India. That's all the goal here. It's not an individual. It's not a panth. It's not any group. And these people shoot at each other in gurdwaras. I mean, it's just horrible the way they go about, taking their wars onto the streets.
They lynched a man in the Golden Temple a few months back. Don't forget that. And nobody's been arrested there.
𝗠𝐶𝐻 wants to know, India's response has been ferocious. How would you rate it, and what are the US sources saying? Will it go to the level of expulsion of High Commissioner?
Basically, what our response now is going on is every 3, 4, 5 days, you're going to have lists of about 15 to 20 people who are going to get their OCIs cancelled and their properties seized. Number one. Number two, remember there is an action announced which Canada has not acted upon, which is the reduction in the diplomatic staff to parity. They will wait, and then if they see that Canada isn't behaving itself, they will expel. One of the things that's definitely on the table is shutting down the Chandigarh, the consulate.
Embassy of Canada. Yeah, okay.
Because what happens with that consulate is that it is, and incidentally, that will score us brownie points with Canadian diplomats because Canadian diplomats hate being posted to Chandigarh. So it's good. It's good. Let's see.
Is Chandigarh also an international airport? I know Amritsar is.
I don't think it is.
Okay.
Kaun jayega Chandigarh?
Well,
I remember once. I think it is because I remember there was one Croatian airline or something. Some Sikh in Croatia started a Croatian airline that was going to do direct flights from. Was it Amritsar or was it Chandigarh to Croatia and then to London? Some nonsense like that. I don't know. It never worked out. And then there was Canada 3000 that started the first direct flights between North America and India. But I think Canada 3000 also went bust. And I think they had a flight service to Amritsar or Chandigarh, one of those places. Who knows?
Next question, please. Aditya B wants to know, what fascinating books have you read lately? We ask this regularly because you have recommended some seriously fascinating books before.
I haven't read any fascinating books of late, by the way. It's actually been quite boring in the last 6-7 months. I've not read something.
Abhishek wants to know, sir, your views on social conservatism. Does it stop or slow the evolution of a society?
it ensures stability in the progress of society. Okay, because what you do is you don't go after every new fad. You wait and see if the fad gains traction before you go down that path, and you test and see what the pros and cons are before you go down that path. It's very simple. I don't know how old you are, Abhishek, but I grew up when we all had tape recorders. Okay. And then after tape recorders, one thing came into the market, which was CDs. Okay. I moved to CDs very rapidly. You could not in those days record on a CD. You could only listen to a CD, but the audio quality was incredible. So I switched there. After that, what happened was there were two formats that came out. There was a Philips digital audio tape, and there was a
Blu-ray.
Sony ka micro disc.
Right.
This was in audio. In video, two things came out: DVD and laser disc. Okay. Right. I never went in for any of these till after a long time. Both digital audio tape and micro disc went away. They never succeeded, but the CD remained quite successful throughout, because the CD, even though it came before the micro disc and digital audio tape, it outlasted the micro disc and digital audio tape. And Laserdisc went out of vogue and DVD became the norm. And then I went and bought a DVD player, which could also play my CDs anyway. So that is what I'm giving you a very rudimentary example. But conservatism is basically don't buy till you know where the market is going, what the pros and cons are, how things pan out.
Next question, please. Anshuman Singh wants to know, how did Canada become safe havens for terrorist outfits from different countries, and it is not just South Asia?
See, people don't realize this, but the back end of terrorism is a whole load of trade, currency flow, money flow, which is kind of criminal based. And this is the model that Canada started. People have forgotten that the person who started this model were France and Britain. Every known terrorist organization was based in either Paris or in London. It was then because the Israelis started killing off all these organized crime rackets that, the French kind of shut it down, and the Brits had a few bombings, and then they kind of shut it down. But Canada followed the same model. You're a safe haven as long as you don't shit here. You're fine. You come, get all your excess profits in here, put your money here, fantastic. Go do all the bombing somewhere else. Don't do it here. Today, these guys are getting blowback, but there are still two places that do this with international acceptance, which is why they will never be condemned for it. One is Singapore and the other is Dubai. They are the biggest hubs of terror money laundering. Yes. And they're very useful hubs, because you will never see a terror attack in Singapore. You will never see a terror attack in Dubai. Because why? The governments of Dubai and Singapore allow these guys to launder money, and they pass all the information along to their friendly governments. And they are friends with everybody, except maybe Iran. So they pass it on to everybody else, and everybody is happy. The terrorists can launder money. Governments know exactly where the money is going.
Next question, please. Mr. Lee wants to know, from Elhaik E 2022, PCA-based findings in population genetic studies are highly biased and must be re-evaluated.
Okay, I don't do genetics, boss. You should know this by now, Mr. Lee. I don't do genetics. I leave this to Anand Ranganathan and Kushal Mehra. I don't do genetics.
Sorry, Mr. Lee. Next one, Ishan Khosla wants to know, how big is malnutrition problem in India and how can we solve it? You've done something on stunting, right?
We've done a lot on stunting, and I'm just going to repeat it, Ishan. I want you to go to any rural area close to you, or any construction site close to you. You won't find it so much in Haryana if you're Delhi-based because there's a big dairy industry. But you go in, say, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Bihar, even Tamil Nadu out, and you see the difference in height. Also see how much is bad breath. Bad breath is usually a sign of bad, not always, but usually is a sign of bad tummy health. But largely stunting is the closest sign of it. You'll see there's lots of signs. Lack of enamel, which is usually calcium deficiency and things like that. There's a whole load of things. It is chronic. It is chronic, but we have no specific, क्या कहते हैं, benchmark to measure it against, and no national statistics.
Next question, please. Rahul Rathod wants to know, is visa ban a strategic move? Will it help in controlling K-gang?
Yes, it actually will. People don't realize this, but OCI and visa are hugely important. See, just because it's not important to us doesn't mean it's not important to them. A 𝙒𝙬𝙤𝘀 is attached to his family and his land. You start confiscating his land, it doesn't matter what the value of the land is. It's the emotional attachment to the land, it's the emotional attachment to family. Preventing those family reunions and things like that is going to be quite this thing. Ultimately, I'll tell you what the policy we're hoping for is. We won't issue visas. What we will hope is that the Canadians start issuing visas they lower their standards and start issuing visas to all and sundry, so you can get rid of a lot of the organized crime out here. Lots of trash go there, and it internalizes the Punjab drug and crime problem into Brampton and Surrey.
Excuse me. Next one, please. Narayan P wants to know, was Trudeau trying to deflect attention from ISI by getting Bharat involved?
No. He was trying to deflect attention from China and Chinese funding of him and his party.
Next one, please. Akash Mihir 84. Is Trudeau's plane still in India? Should we nationalize it?
No, it's left long back. What you can nationalize, I'll tell you, is $55 billion worth of Canadian pension funds invested in India.
That would be bad, though. That would send the wrong message. Santosh Kumar.
Santosh Kumar. You don't have to seize it. You can freeze it. Besides, the Canadians are the ones that opened the door on it by seizing all Russian assets. No.
True. Santosh Kumar wants to know,
see, what you can do is you can freeze it, in that you say that interest will accrue, but you can't withdraw it anymore. And in the meantime, all interest will not go to you. It will only go to us till you improve your policies on terrorism. We will levy this as a terrorism cess on you.
That's a good idea. Well, we have to see where this thing ends.
Yeah.
But how do you see this thing ending, though? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you that question. How do you see this Canada-India spat ending?
I'm not seeing it ending right now. So the Indian government is actually enjoying this, by the way. Nobody's upset. They're enjoying this. They've got their claws out. You know that my friend Velina Chakarova on Twitter, every time she says something nasty, she puts this GIF of a cat polishing its nails on nail file.
Right.
There's a GIF of that. That's exactly what's happening in the government of India right now. They're all sitting there like cats, grinning like a Cheshire cat, and polishing their nails on nail files.
So, viewers, who said this? Grinning like a Cheshire cat, fight like a Liverpool cat. All this comes in one particular book or essay, I think. Anyway, if anybody remembers that, do put it as comment.
I'm just getting myself some water. Just 1 second.
Doing that, while he's doing that, may I request all of you, if you have not already subscribed to our channel, to subscribe to our channel. Also, if you have not bought my latest book, Paper in, Money Out, we're going to play a quick outro of that if possible now, so that you guys know what are the different books available for sale now. Paper in, Money Out is a book that actually traces from when all this started. I mean, banks did not have NPAs like many years ago. In fact, they were private till 1969. And it was Indira Gandhi who nationalized them. And then things went from there to, to what it is today. But for the first 10, 15 years, things were going okay. And then mischief started. All that is captured in a fictional manner in Paper in, Money Out. Do get your copy. And I think he is back. Lolita is back. Santosh Kumar wants to know, do you believe in astrology as science and math combined? It's as effective as any modern science can be, which is always updating in trial and error methodology. Also, Sree sir, your thought. First, you go.
Astrology is as good as the person wielding it. There is the F grade student who will tell you 2 + 2 = 7. And then there's the good student who will tell you 2 + 2 = 4. Irrespective of privilege or background or all that crap. So I do believe in astrology. The question is, do you understand it and know how to apply it? Look, it's basic science, right? If you accept that the moon and the sun have an effect on tides, high tide, low tide, why won't they have effects with certain other things? The question is, it's very complex. This is like, the butterfly effect kind of thing. The flapping of a butterfly wing in Indonesia can cause a landslide in Alaska or whatever. The thing is, do you understand how it works, what it's saying and things like that? And, I have been to some astrologers who are disturbingly accurate. And, it's not like, will my son succeed? Yes, if he studies well, he will succeed. I could have told you that. I don't need an astrologer.
It's like this, right? Bad luck comes for free.
It's not like, Shani is in the 14th house of 𝗤𝙗𝘃, which means he could pass. But then 𝗤𝙗𝘃 is in the 23rd house of Shani, which means he might not pass. So you see, we have to understand if he will pass or not. Not this kind. It's clear yes or no answers, boss. A scale.
Let me round out my thought on astrology. Viewers, if you know accurately the place you are born and the time you are born, and they'll ask you a few other questions, but everything has to be accurate. The coordinates where you are born, the place you are born. If you have that accurate to within, how accurate you can get it, the better the reading of the horoscope. In fact, many people poke fun at astrology saying, look, I know so many twins. One has done extremely well. The other one has done terribly. How can he explain that? Well, many astrological predictions are based on only Rasi, but there are many other things that you can look at. And one of them changes every 24 seconds. That means granularity is every 24 seconds. Even twins are not born that close. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Next one, please. Chintan, thank you so much. What kind of government is best according to Abhijit? Democracy, monarchy, mix of both, or any other?
Ruled by white people such as myself who are worshipped as god kings. Look, basically, this is the problem. There is no such thing as a best way of governance, boss. See, governance, an institution can hedge against human failing up to a point, but not beyond a point. So all institutions usually start off quite well. I mean, institutional change happens precisely because the old institution wasn't functioning and you needed a new institution. Clearly, it survives. And then ultimately it collapses. It's that simple. So, I don't believe in Churchill's adage that, democracy is the worst system we have, except it's the least worst of a whole load of bad options. I don't buy that. Each system is very uniquely suited to the unique genius of the people, their geography, their history. some suit, and none of it will succeed past about, say, 50 to 150 years maximum. Okay. In monarchies, you will have new dynasties. In republics, you will have either coups or new republics. Like, France is currently the fourth republic or the fifth republic. So you will have all of this. And that's what it is.
𝗖𝗏 𝗍𝗃𝗁 wants to know, what was the reason behind BJP-JDS alliance in Karnataka? Does BJP not have the confidence to retain 25 out of 28 seats they won last time? How can BJP continue to talk about Parivarvad now?
Reality always trumps idealism. The opposition to Parivarvad was idealism. This is reality. You saw the level of vote swing against the BJP in the state election. They don't want that happening again. And it wasn't really the Muslim vote. It was much more the JDS. JDS is what? 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗃𝗁 Lingayat, I forget.
Yeah. 𝗤𝗏𝗍𝗃𝗁 is JDS. Yeah. And Lingayat is the one that went away. Lingayat is because people are pissed off that...
It was the JDS vote that swung to the Congress.
Yeah, the JDS minority vote, I thought, swung to the Congress.
No. It was the majority vote as well. So it's
Go ahead.
Basically, look, once you see a swing like that, maybe it won't happen. Maybe it was localized to an uncharismatic local leader who couldn't stand up to two Congress stalwarts anyway. And maybe it won't work in 2024 with Modi. But what if it does? So better safe than sorry.
Next one, please. Chaitanya Takle wants to know, any certification courses? I think we are passing that one. Chaitanya YSK, thank you so much. Why does West speak?
One second.
China?
Yeah. Let's. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was professional development. We don't answer professional development courses.
Yeah. Why does West speak against China, knowing full well that China has the manufacturing of the Western companies, and if China retaliates, then these companies would incur huge losses?
Where would Chinese manufacturing go? Chinese manufacturing is based on access to Western markets. If China retaliates, what do you think the West ends up doing?
It will find another place like Vietnam, India, Bangladesh even. It doesn't matter. If there is an opportunity, a country will do whatever it takes to get that business. Huge, guys. Look at all the Southeast Asian rim countries. Japan, Taiwan, South Korea. All these grew because there was a market in the West for them. And there were selected things that were given to all these people in the 50s and 60s. And that's how they have become what they are today. Singapore. So, in fact, India
they tried
most of us.
They tried it with chips, no? They tried it with chips.
Right.
They tried blockading it, and what happened? There was a full-on pushback against it. India nearly got its own manufacturing and all of that, but they basically decided to screw China over. So remember, when China supplies you with something, China has leverage, but you also have leverage on China. Samajh rahe ho na? It's not a one-way leverage.
Next question, please. Srinivas MS, thank you so much. We love AIM, the true patriot of India. Bharat always gives harsh but honest criticism. Bharat needs more AIM and Sree Iyer. Thank you so much.
Jesus saves.
Thank you, Vinay Negi. Do you think Raw will call open season on K-Gang in Canada now that gloves are off?
K-Gang. The gloves aren't off. The gloves are not off. Basically, listen, boss. What you're seeing is कि ये जो हो रहा है, this is unrestricted gang warfare happening out there. I do not believe we did this. I fundamentally don't. This is a gang war gone amok, And India will do whatever it can to encourage that gang war to go amok. And once all the visas and the land start getting confiscated, the OCI start getting cancelled, you will see that this will get worse and worse and worse. In the short term, maybe not. In the longer term, yes. You've already had, 3-4 people already killed in Canada?
Yeah.
This is going to get worse, but I don't think it is Raw calling the open season. Is Raw helping it on the side by, saying, Beta, I don't know who the guy sitting in Tihar jail is, but one of them is Lawrence Bishnoi. No? One of them is
Bishnoi. Correct. Lawrence Bishnoi. Right.
They won't go do stuff. What they'll do is they'll go give him a mobile phone. Normally, you're not allowed a mobile phone. But they'll say, le beta, ye mobile phone le, aur jo call karne Canada ko kar le. And then he will, and obviously they'll be sitting and listening, saying ki haan, isko ye paisa idhar de de, they won't intercept. They'll send a message to Punjab police saying, look, this shipment will go, don't intercept it. Passive, sure. I think passively there will be a lot more permissiveness of there will be a mirroring of Canadian policy towards organized crime as long as it is directed towards a third party. I think I nuanced that well.
Thank you so much, 𝗼𝐶𝐶, for your generous donation. We can handle Pakistan militarily, but what about the nuclear threat that they pose to us? For example, their country is about to cease to exist, and they think of nuking us just because of the hate.
You don't nuke people because of the hate, and remember, the elite out there love their life. Never make this mistake of thinking Pakistan's that they're a bunch of crazed mullahs. They will nuke you just because they hate you. They will not nuke you because they hate you. More likely than not, it will be a theft of a nuclear weapon that lands up on your head. Even there are, I think we have explained this several times on this podcast before, there are several fail-safes to ensure that the 3 people with the 3 different codes and equipment never come together, unless it's the top echelon, which is the most corrupt echelon, which loves life, which will not want to nuke you just because they hate you. And there's nothing you can do about a nuclear threat. That's the whole point of a nuclear threat. No, that's why nuclear deterrence works, and it largely prevents conventional warfare.
Next one, please. Chaitanya YSK, thank you so much. How can you be an expert in one country politics like we have Chinese expert? Is there a roadmap for international relations between Russian and Spanish, which is your favorite language?
You can. See, there are micro experts and there are macro experts. My micro expertise is nuclear and defense economics. Macro I was forced to do because my old boss started. I never wanted to do macro, by the way. It was my old boss, Sameer Saran at ORF, that forced me to do macro, because he said, beta, you are a much better macro guy because you put 2 and 2 together. So I was like, I cursed him. For the first 2 years, I went on cursing him for it, but apparently I can. So, but mine has always been nuclear. It's been military and civil nuclear and defense economics. So just like that, you can have China-specific experts. 99% of China experts are absolute unmitigated quacks. There are very few China experts who are very, very good. And I would highly recommend you follow this person called Sun Yun in Stimson Center, Washington. I don't think anybody is as clear and as accurate about motives and predictions of China as Sun Yun is. And that is your roadmap. You decide what you want to do. You may not be a macro person. You might be a micro person. There's no roadmap, but you do what you do. The thing is, 99.99% of China experts, as I told you, are bullshitters. They're chronic, compulsive bullshitters. Right? What you will turn into, I don't know. Between Russian and Spanish, neither. I've never liked either Russian or Spanish as a language.
Sid Dave, I don't know. Thank you so much. K-gangs will keep fighting each other and eventually Goras will take action once a Gora is hurt. K-gang is allowed till the time Gora is not threatened.
Yes, that is the principle. You kill each other, dirty brown people kill each other, don't you dare kill one of us.
Next one, please. Venkatrama Muthuswamy, how do you rate Jaisankar's address at the UN General Assembly?
It made me sleep. It was like some 1990s 𝗖𝗂𝘁𝗍𝗔 Gujral speech. What was interesting was his interaction at the CFR. That was a fun one, and that was a very good one. The UNGA address, but tell me, how many UNGA addresses you know that are good? The last UNGA address, if you want to call it that was even remotely listenable, was Nikita Khrushchev banging his shoes on the table. UNGA speeches are all shit, boss. They're meant to be shit. They're meant to be boring anodyne crap. So I don't rate it, but even by those crappy standards, I was like, kya hum 1990s mein wapas chale gaye hain kya? But that interaction, I think, UNGA addresses don't count for much. The interesting thing was what happened at CFR, which was outstanding.
Next one, please. Siddharth Rao, thank you so much. Jairam Ramesh book on PN Huxer shows Sanjay Gandhi's hatred for PNH. I don't know what PNH is, and Muslims. Jama Masjid and forced sterilization are very well documented. Your opinion?
This is largely true. His sterilization was targeted at Muslims in a way. But he also hated communists. He saved India from communism. You should be grateful to him for it. Did he go overboard with sterilization? Remember, in those days, the belief was that sterilization solves problems. We today know, well, thank God it failed because it would have caused huge knockdown effects. But in those days, remember, people did not think about second and third order effects. The Green Revolution belt is now the cancer belt. The Green Revolution belt first became the terror belt, which then became the cancer belt. Because of the Green Revolution, fertility rates went up to 4-5. Punjab is the classic case. Why terrorism started there? Because of the Green Revolution. Sudden, massive drop in infant mortality, massive increase in wealth because of the Green Revolution, huge fertility rates, huge surplus population, terror. Combined with the ossified social, eucalyptus. These were all planted at that time. They've destroyed the water tables. They've caused havoc with water in India. Nobody wants to talk about eucalyptus. And I think it's well known that he did not like Muslims and he wanted to, a lot of the forced sterilization was directed towards them.
Guys, here is a history look at Ooty. Ooty is the name, the original name is Udaka Mandalam. What that means is a plateau where it rains a lot. This is a Tamil word. Okay. So the British wanted to have their summer vacations there, but they did not like the fact that it rained so much. So you know what they did? They went and planted eucalyptus trees. Today, Ooty has droughts. Can you believe it? Next question, please.
One second. I've got a bit of a work emergency. Will you hold fort for like 2 minutes?
Yes. Please go ahead. I'll take one question from here. Yeah. Div Zombie, is there any news on recent small arms procurement by the Indian Army? Also, are the Indian MOD and IA likely to allow UAE defense companies in India? I didn't know that UAE had defense companies. This is out of my pay grade, guys. Let's wait till he comes back. Let me see if I can take something that is a little simpler. Sid Dave wants to know, will Congress and opposition parties completely support BJP on this issue? I think all of us are enraged when Indira Gandhi incident happened in Brampton. Oh, you're talking about India, Canada. Well, for now, Congress is keeping quiet. But they do need something. They need some kind of a branch to hold on to keep that we are also here. We are the opposition, and I don't know which form and shape it's going to take. For example, if you take a look at Karnataka, right? Now they are having this effigies of Stalin being burnt. They are even doing death rites to Stalin. It's very bad, very poor taste. And these things are all saying that, we don't have water. What water are we going to be able to spare to Tamil Nadu? So the normal, if it was normal, they would have got 7,100 cusecs or something like that flow. And what the Supreme Court has asked them is, okay, so you are low on water, at least spare them 5,000. And Karnataka is unwilling to do that. So these are both partners in the dot alliance. If this is the way even partners are going to work, what sort of message do you think they are sending to the electoral public? I mean, no matter how much you can give to 2,000, 4,000 rupees the day before the election, do you think that's going to swing it in their favor? I'm not sure. Also, I think that this coming elections in 4 states, you will start seeing that money is much harder to distribute. And that in itself will give you an idea that, okay, the game plan will have to be changed by them. And they may just start giving you reevaluated. But reevaluated are promises. People have been, sold down the river on that. So we have to wait and see how this plays out. Go back to the previous question. Div Zombie, this is a question for you. Is there any news on recent small arms procurement by the IA? I don't know what IA is. Indian Army?
Indian Army, yeah.
Okay. Are the Indian Ministry of Defense and IA likely to allow UAE defense companies in India? Thanks for the donation.
They've been allowed for a long time. There's no bar on them. I don't know why you think there's a bar on them, but there's never been a bar on them. I know several companies, to be fair, they're not large companies, they're smaller defense companies. They supply parts who have been working with the Indian government for a very long time, at least 7-8 years, as far as I can tell. And news on small arm procurement, Google it, boss. I don't follow the micro details on this.
Chintan, thank you so much. What religion Abhijit follows? Do you believe in God or some kind of divinity?
I believe in our Lord and Jesus Christ, and I believe all those who don't go straight to hell.
Next one, please.
And not just go to hell. I believe they rot in hellfire. I believe their flesh is slowly torn off, their eyes are plucked out, their tongues are plucked out, their teeth are broken one by one, and they suffer eternal torture for millions of years over and over again. Because see, with that torture in hell, you don't die. So Chintan, please accept Jesus in your heart and your life. Otherwise, I don't want this happening to you. Please.
Hey,
I want Jesus to save your soul.
Thank you, Sid, for your generous donation. Whites are supposed to become a minority in 20 to 30 years in the United States, Canada. What impact will this have on the West? I see it becoming a place where all tribal conflicts of the world have been imported.
Can we go back to the previous question? Now I'll give a serious answer. I'm a Hindu. I'm a practicing Hindu in that I am an atheist, but I will go to temples and do pujas because it's my connection to my culture and my past. Okay. And no, I don't believe in any god or divinity.
Next one, please. Okay, whites are supposed to become a minority in 20 to 30 years in the United States, Canada. What impact this will have on the West? I see it becoming a place where all tribal conflicts of the world have been imported.
Yeah, US, Canada, and Europe. And before, it wasn't the case except in Canada. So what would happen was Europe and America prioritized linguistic integration, which ultimately led to cultural and social integration, right? So this happened across America and it happened across Europe because European states were formed on the basis of language. Canada, right from its beginning, was a bilingual state. Remember, French and English. So this multiculturalism thing started there very, very early, where they believed that all incoming waves needed to have their cultures respected and all this multiculturalism crap. Now, I'll tell you what multiculturalism is. It's a very dangerous concept because you believe that all cultures are the same. They are not. You believe that integration with social norms is not required. Well, they are. Okay, because the reality you leave is not the reality you come to. If I lived in the jungles of Papua New Guinea, where somebody was willing to crack open my head for just like that, and I go to Canada, I can't crack open my neighbor's head. Just because somebody in Punjab is going to shoot me with a gun because I haven't done drug deals with him or bought drugs from him, doesn't mean I can go do the same. Well, increasingly, you can do the same in Canada, but anyway. But that is what multiculturalism is. So the roots of this suicidal Canadian multiculturalism actually started way before. It started in Europe and America. But in Europe and America, it has picked up considerable steam. It did exist to a large extent in UK, where again the deal was, you can kill each other, just don't end up killing us white people. But it is now in your face, there will be significant tribal conflict out there. And it's a good thing. They need to pay the price for their decisions.
We still have a lot of questions to go through, so we're going to try and rifle through them as much as possible. Thank you, Nishchal. Can Google read your thoughts and give video suggestions on YouTube and Insta?
They clearly can, but they neither does my Twitter give me good recommendations, nor does YouTube give me. YouTube gives me, say, about 30% good recommendations, but 70% of the recommendations are not what I watch. Insta also, it doesn't do a good job.
Mr. Lee wants to know, would industrial revolution be possible without loot from Americas? US historian Brooke Adams, in The Law of Civilization and Decay, postulated that IR would not have taken place without the loot, industrial revolution.
Well, then I'd call bullshit on it. And I'll tell you why. The total amount of gold in the world today can fit 2 to 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools. In the 1700s, it could fit, now it can fit 3. Before that, it could fit 2. And for most of history, it could only fit 1. The total amount of gold always remained more or less the same. You didn't get this huge quantity of gold that they talk about from the Americas. It did not happen. You look at Spanish prosperity. Where was Spanish prosperity at that time? Where was Portuguese prosperity at that time coming in, boss? You show me what their per capita incomes were in those days. The Industrial Revolution enabled colonization of Britain and France. The loot of the Americas prevented the industrialization of Spain and Portugal. It is quite the reverse. क्योंकि उनको पैसा आ रहा था, they had this घर जमा attitude, like the typical Jat, Sikh Jat, no? मेरा पैसा आंदा है, मैं बैठ चौथ का काम करूंगा, होए होए. Whereas the guy who has nothing will work their butt off, trying to find a future for their kids. That is what happened. The Industrial Revolution is what enabled British and French colonialization. Spanish and Portuguese colonialism started much earlier, was plunderous, and prevented the Industrial Revolution from happening.
Next one, please. Radha Mohan Madhavi Kupa, thank you so much. Rishabh Modi, thank you. Rishabh Modi again, thank you. Pending questions will be recorded and uploaded on PGurus B channel, youtube.com/PGurus. Do subscribe to that so that you will get notification of when you're going to have the questions answered by Abhijit Iyer-Mitra. You had a Vulcan sign up there. Go ahead.
We'll do it. I think we'll record it tomorrow. So it should be up by the after tomorrow or something.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. Thank you so much, Abhijit. And I know you've been pulled away to work today, so we'll let you go.
No.
We'll see you.
That was just one work call, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. All right then. Unfortunately, I have a limit. I have to go to another program. I have to prep for it. I'll give you a break. Take care. and hopefully you will wear vibhuti the next time around.
Ta-ta. Bye.